All right, it is currently 5:40 p.m. This is magnification of engineered light, and you're looking at the shadow of trees that are blowing in the wind from outside. This is engineered light that's being aimed into my apartment. And as I move around, it's an ongoing molestation. As I move my body, it creates light activity. That's the shadow of the trees. First of all, not only are the blinds closed, that's entirely demonic. That's not just impossible. That is demonic. Super magnification of light coming through closed blinds. Magnification of the size of these closed spots, the shadow of the trees reaching through. Yeah, that's not normal light. That's engineered light. All of the property, all of the land is covered in engineered light. The demon possessed are engaging in a system of group stalking and monitoring. And I'm using this timestamp as an ongoing example because you see the light source in the same position, first of all, where you see the moon, like you saw this morning. All right, you saw the moon in the same position. This is the light source that's over building 1818. And I am inside of my apartment, which is building 1806. I want to be clear, that's the light source right there. Just like you saw while I was outside, it was over my head all day long, didn't go anywhere. It did move to be in alignment with my apartment at 1806. Remember, I was down there. The entity is keeping the light source in alignment with that building, with my office, which is nearest building 1810. It is necessarily moving to be over building 1802, moving across building 1800 to be over in alignment with my bedroom window at 1806. That's the building I'm in, and this is building 1818, where both the sun and the moon is present. And it is impossible that the sun is present. This is why, legally, understanding the prosecution, this is an admission. The entity is engaged in group stalking in plain sight. You just didn't know what you were looking at. You just didn't know what you were surrounded by. This is an ongoing admission. It's going against the people of the state who are engaged in a demonic targeting system, engaging in terrorizing an American citizen, engaging in a perpetual sex offense against an American citizen, doing it vicariously on behalf of the government. That's the state of California. And that's where you have the entity group stalking by police, fire, and ambulance, posing the highest threat, while group stalking in police vehicles bearing weapons and stalking in helicopters in the specific environment, okay, day and night. Under now the moon and under what is the light source, which is supposed to be the sun, the LAPD is group stalking obsessively, engaging in demonic patrolling in the sky space, focused on every syllable that I utter, and in what is engineered light. Not only is the sun not over, contrary to what I captured at 5:40 p.m., I'm at after leaving the Paul Bryan Library, and which is the P.O.C., the light source doesn't continue to migrate anywhere. It remains over me all day long, and that's what I documented while I was traveling, and then stopped at the Paul Bryan Library at Victoria Gardens in Rancho Cucamonga, which is not visible over any sky space over build inside of, while I'm looking through my window, which is building 1806 North Alvarado Street on the 3rd floor. Apartment number 6, also not visible over building 1818, will have no sunlight ever resulting inside of my apartment. Understand how I give you vivid illustration after vivid illustration, and you're seeing the same thing. The light sources were meant because I'm not going anywhere, and it's very, very plain to see the entity is straight stalking. This is plain stalking with a light source. Stalking with light is what demons do. That's why demons that are in this position, and this engaging in substantially similar conduct at nightfall, and you're looking at what's impossible light that is moving across building 1818. That's what demons do. All right, that's why you saw the demon that is Kilsa while she's driving in the parking lot, and you saw impossible light moving across the building of 1802 while I was holding my camera, and this light source was not over building 1818, which would have made me face this direction with my body. I was facing this direction with my body down there. That's a demon that Kilsa was demonstrating her demon possession. That's what demons do. They stalk in the path with light. That's what you saw that demon driving that access, which is LA County, this morning. While this same light source was here, by the way, that was 8:16. Let's count. 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was over 9 hours ago, while access is documented, engaging in engaged in the pattern of conduct on behalf of the state. Access is LA County. That's the state coming to engage in targeting me, to engage in terrorizing me, to engage in group stalking me, acting directly at the facilitating venue while they're coming. Let me tell you what Access is doing. They're coming to a facilitating venue. They're coming to a crime scene to come participate in criminal activity by picking up, again, surrounded by the evidence. They're coming to a facilitating venue to pick up a third-party group stalker and engaging in the identical pattern of the demon possessed. Stalking with light. And that's what that demon driving that access vehicle and the demon behind them driving that Kia Telluride. Reference the video documentation captured at 8:16 this morning. Where, by the way, the light source is over them. It's direct evidence against the people of the state that comes to this crime scene to engage in monitoring me. All right. And outwardly demonstrating demon possession. All right, and that, let me be clear, that facilitating conduct is what the demons of the LAPD are monitoring me to. They share in this ritualistic demonic targeting system. All right, and that's why they're in the sky space pacing around in relevant position under what's a phenomenon. All right, this is not an ongoing just random fact. There's an ongoing systematic collection of facts, okay? And it is occurring at 5:40 p.m. in Rancho Cucamonga. The light source is hovering over me while I'm at the Victoria Gardens parking garage. All right, there is no sun that I'm going to see here. First of all, in Rancho Cucamonga, from this vantage point, there will be no sunlight inside of my apartment. And this is the ongoing systematic identical analysis, which is the surefire prosecution of the people that say you don't have an argument. You don't have a legally relevant argument. You don't have any constitutional protection. You surely don't have any help while the entity is documented engaging in an ongoing pattern of stalking in conformity to a well-documented pattern of stalking. And I'm referencing these corrupt, demon-possessed law enforcement agencies. All right, you're understanding what is vicarious criminal activity. And the entity is group stalking just like the state is group stalking. And they're group stalking in a very specific environment. That in and of itself is beyond a coincidence. It's called a pattern of conduct. That's the clinical term. This is called crossing path, and under no circumstances at nightfall will it result in any headlights swiping across or creating the pattern of leaves through the headlights that move across a building. That's what those demons were doing when they were group stalking with Universal Waste the other morning while the moon was in the same exact position. Reference the documentation. All right. Again, this is demonic pacing. The people of the state that are demons in the specific environment, this is the systematic means. And let me be clear. This is going to be a massive criminal prosecution of a government and the people. And the evidence of what is the light source and all that light that covers all the land while I'm in Rancho Cucamonga, that rich documentation that I captured that day, all this engineered light that covers all that, this prosecution is going to reach far and wide. Okay. And commercial actors such as Spectrum, by virtue of capturing that logo, they're being prosecuted. I'm going to drain their pockets. All right. It is immeasurable damages while they are present, but they are in no way providing any umbrella for the people of the state. That criminal prosecution is going to reach into every household in relevant position, because that's what the entity is doing systematically, very easily, group stalking and monitoring me. These demons' activity of just driving down the street is amplified while I'm surrounded by engineer light all day and all night. While demons on Alvarado Street crossing path know when I'm pulling down my panties, and their activity is amplified with simultaneity to that. Those are sex offenders, all right, that get a kickoff of doing that, and they're all going to be prosecuted for it, all of them. And that criminal prosecution, that sex offense, that terrorism is going to be relevant to the ways in which they're able to keep custody of their kids, keep the jobs that they have, remain in the industries that they're in. All right. These are the federal repercussions that will precipitate from engaging in a state system that is no longer a secret. There is no sun that's going to be in alignment setting inside of my apartment when it's rising here. And also while it's setting here, that's not the sun. There's also no sun hovering over in its zenith at my head, over anyone's head. But I documented at the same time, 5:40 p.m. at the outside of the parking garage of the Paul Bryan Library, the Victoria Gardens in Rancho Cucamonga. Okay, where, by the way, the light source is present over me in the morning before it opened. The time that Paul Bryan Library opens, it's 10 o'clock. All right, and the pattern of conduct is established. And the entity is surrounded with a body of evidence, and it continues to pose an impermissible threat. This is documentation of the commercial stalking. Spectrum is in relevant position. Monitoring, they're here providing services to third-party group stalkers. You don't have any legal valid business. They're engaging in state surveillance. They engage in the identical demonic behavior, and they're engaging in that at the specific environment. I want you to pay attention. This is an example of demonic pacing. They have them walking in opposite directions. That's what they're doing in vehicles, driving on the street, entering into the property next door, driving out of this property, driving up Alvarado Street, driving down Alvarado Street, driving in to the parking lot on this side, driving into the parking lot on that side. Demonic pacing, patrolling. This is what's going on. So you're going to open your mind and understand, recognize what you're looking at. This is how demons are engaging in highly demented conduct. All right, and all I'm doing is blowing the whistle, but at the same time, I'm shedding light on what the demon-possessed are doing in plain sight. All right, it's currently 5:49 p.m. This is documentation of what is light piercing through closed blinds, magnified in size, showing the leaves through closed blinds. The leaves on the trees, ladies and gentlemen, appearing in magnified light on my wall while the sun is over at the same exact time over me in Rancho Cucamonga, California. That's called the P.O.C. All right. And that's after capturing the sun rising through my same apartment, the hillside, and it is setting. And this is also the same window where the entity has the moon at nightfall. The demon possessed, that is personification of the obsession. While the demon possessed are focused on you, they are obsessively stalking you. They are highly malicious, mentally demented actors, but they want to outwardly conduct themselves and appear as though they're not. Very dangerous, very sick. Okay, the pattern of conduct is very demented. It's very sick. All right, and these are their secrets, and you're learning about them. And I'm going to prosecute for that. And this is empowering any other targeted individual to prosecute, because it is not a fallacy. It's a very real crime, and it's committed by a government. It's not committed by some one person. It's not that. That's a third party or a state actor. They're operating in a system. The whole environment is serving for what is a system. Okay, and that's how you have the same time in Rancho Cucamonga and at 1806 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6 on the 3rd floor. While I'm facing my window, the direction that I'm facing, the time of day, the direction that I'm facing in Rancho Cucamonga, the time of day, where I'm at, all of that is also additional details, all relevant, which for the federal government to learn more about what the entity is doing, what a demon-possessed entity is doing, and all the ways in which it's impossible. On its face, it's impossible. Okay, but this can be further analyzed by government agencies. Anyway, it's currently 5:51 p.m. This is P.O.C.